out a little bit. I do actually think I want to just get a league with the new Ygra list in. This way we can maybe make a couple more small changes for tomorrow's challenge. Because this deck was definitely the breakout deck this week. We tried a build that was playing Buried Alive and Victimize. Victimize was not as good as it was in like my testing off screen. The idea behind Victimize is that you can like more proactively put a Ygra or an Overlord into play, but it just wasn't very good. Then we tried White of the Reliquary. White was fine. I didn't love having like one creature that's like really weak to like Fatal Push. Definitely felt that dynamic of the Dimir matchup a lot. And I also missed Buried Alive as like a tutor that puts Ygra familiar in the yard. So right now I'm playing Buried Alive in just 2 Goria's Vengeances. You don't want to overload on this effect. You basically never want to draw 2. I was worried that Vengeance is just a combo card, but but just when you draw it, you can combo a lot faster, and that's pretty nice. So you have like Goria's Woodland, and of course just casting Ygra off of like Tower, Goose, Rumble too. Ygra deck has been great. I think we were 8-2 with it on Monday. It might have been 7-3, but the deck, deck also is just like looking very good. This is a deck that is very resilient, very hard to interact with, and also like is very defensive against Boros. Very good Boros matchup has been our current experiences. 3 Bearded Alive might be 1 too many. I think it's the right number. It could be 1 too many. Right now I'm happy with 3. We might make some changes. Let's just get a league in and make some changes for the challenge tomorrow. Ygra is really big. Literally very big. Mana not really functional. It's mulligan. This mana is very not functional here. Going to 5. Okay. Pretty tempting to just keep 2 geese because we need 2 geese for the for 2 familiars for the combo. For some reason I keep mixing up all the 1 mana creatures when I say them out loud. I think I'm gonna do that. If I can just like salvage over like Woodland and Ygra, we'll be cooking. My opponent suspends a Lotus Bloom. Being on the draw against Blue Belcher is tough. I do think we won the last time we played this matchup. I can't exactly remember if that was on or off stream, I guess. What if they Surge Ygra? Though you might lose, but you can attack with Overlords and stuff, and you could try to play around that too, like by putting Ygra into your hand and casting it. But certainly this is not a deck that is meant to be built very well against Surgical Extraction. It's cool that the Trainer Flare stuff seems to be becoming a bit more stock in this shell. Okay, I'm definitely gonna take a Woodland. We do need 1 more card type for Delirium. But if we can find that off of our salvage, we can win on turn 4. Now, we may have, of course, just made the fatal blunder of being on the draw. Usually quite a big mistake. Oh, we also do the Ygra in the yard. We have like a lot of looks. There's the land. Also mold of 5. Okay, deck tech for Fisticuff. We'll see if we just get belched here. So this is updated Necro life gain. So I remember I saw Canister post a list, and he was playing. It's listed here. I guess we should have seen the list. It's always tough when I'm doing deck techs. He was playing a 12 mana black and green spirit. It's like I name or something like that. Not sure, I guess, the name of I name. So Haywire Mite can like hit Lotus Bloom, and it can also exile the Belchers, which is kind of nice. Fulminator Mage, not a card that I love. Decay kills Tamashi, also kills Lotus Field on their upkeep, and also could hit any sideboard graveyard hate that they have. Do you think the Hexmages are just very much not for this matchup? Decays are also kind of slow and dirtily. Or so the Buried Lives are also kind of slow and dirtily. They might be better than the Overlords, though, in this like all-in combo matchup. Let me try this. So I don't know if that's better. So the upside is that card pitches to both Soul Spike and Autochron Worm. So I think that that's kind of interesting. It might be better. You'd have to play some games. I also would not play Aetherflux Reservoir. I would really just play 4 Enduring Tenacities before any Sorens, any Aetherflux Reservoir. Oh wait, sorry. Never mind. The big problem with this deck is that if you have Necrodominance in play, you don't get your Enduring Tenacity doesn't endure. That's like the huge problem here. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That is the big problem. I like I think Tenacity is better than Soaring because it's just so much more resilient and you're not restricted on timings, which is like a pretty big deal. But boy is like this like tension of like Necro stopping, just like making this die to removal spell is so bad. So I'm not sure. I would probably try the I name tech. I can't remember the name of the card. It's obviously pretty obscure. Mana base looks fine. I don't think I like the second Reservoir on the board with all these other redundancy to the combo. 0 Fatal Push main is kind of weird. I kind of feel like they're maybe better than Bowmaster in the main for you. Just kind of want to buy time. Maybe Bowmaster is better at buying time. There's a 3-drop the same effect as Tenacity better. Well, so in theory, it's not better, right? Because it is a 1/2 that doesn't come back if your opponent bolts or galvanic discharges it, and also it also has worse stats, which is somewhat relevant, right? So we Ygra in the yard for our Gorios. A Phyrexian Tower could be good to supply, although we're getting our Rumble countered. When you evaluate cards for Bring a Modern, how do you use your criteria for what is modern playable? Because sometimes you'll say sometimes unplayable and I won't get why. I'll say sometimes in unplayable and it won't get why. I mean, so like the answer is I compare it to everything else that I've played in Modern. I compare it to the other cards legal in Modern. That is the short answer. And that's really all you can ever compare it to. The other cards that are legal. Sorry, I don't know if I was supposed to attack there. Yeah, not going to be able to present lethal with... You can kind of make this really big with Goose tokens sometimes. Not here, though. So it's like it's not like I have like a formula for what is playable and not. I'm just comparing it against all the other decks I've played and all the cards that are like playable cards in Modern, the cards that I consider to be playable. And that's really, I think, the only way you can ever do it. I know it's not probably something that feels great because it's kind of abstract, kind of vague. But it is the best way to do it. So see if they have the untapped land for the Belcher. No, thankfully it seems like we have some time. We'll see if they have a counter spell for this Rumble. The fact that Belcher just gets to like counter combo is so cool. We did find a cat. Did need a cat. Unfortunately, don't really find anything else that is helpful. Also, I think I just leave that in the yard. Yeah, we're just gonna actually leave that in the yard because it may be kind of invisible. We could actually combo here. Because what we could do is we can Goryo's Ygra, and then we can sack Supplier to our Cauldron Familiar, so we get 3 more looks at a Cauldron Familiar to potentially combo off. Now, we won't necessarily want to go for that unless we're desperate. And it looks like we could be desperate. So they didn't have an untapped land or even a tap land last turn, so it's still not very likely that they're going to try to be able to Goryo's me. So is Goryo's now is better against my opponent. I mean, it's just like correct because if it's I can just have it in play on my next turn if I draw something else, and if they counter it, then I can play my other Ygra, and then sack Supplier to Familiar. Is Necro Belcher a totally unhinged idea? No, I think I've even seen people do it. So I did, brick up my draw step here. So we just have 3 more looks at another cat. Oh, okay, but I think I've messed up here. So first, well, hold on. So I can go make a food, sack the food for mana, 2 counters on Ygra, sack spawn for mana, 2 counters on Ygra, sack goose, to cat, 2 counters on Ygra, sack cat to tower, 2 counters on Ygra. It's very lethal, very lethal. Could they have a sink into the stupor? They could. They also have 3 life off the Thundertrap trainer. We can sack Familiar to tower, yeah. I was just kind of thinking because like the supplier right can represent it can represent 1 extra damage. It can represent 1 extra damage into the flood maul. Okay, so now let's make them sacrifice their trainer. And then thankfully they've done this in a way that we still have the ability to get lucky and mill over a cat. We have 3 cats left and 38 cards. We get 3 looks at them. We brick, unfortunately. My Ygra is returned to my hand, and we die to my opponent's Goblin Char Belcher. But cool game. Belcher is maybe like the combo deck that is so good against other combo decks. I counter Belchu. Same thing as like the last league. Double Rumble Cauldron Familiar is so nice. Let me get the calculator out. So after we fetch, we're going to have 21 lands left in the deck. Oh, sorry. Population size will be 52. We'll have 21 lands left in the deck, and we're gonna look at 2 cards. There's 21 successes, and we need to succeed in 1 in the next 2. So we are 65% to hit our second land with the Heath here. This hand is very, very strong. I'm going to keep. Is Thomasy Belcher better than Selective Memory? I think that it is. I'm not 100% sure. But I like War of Invention. Like there's sometimes just cards like I've hated for years, and that I just think are so unplayable, and I really just kind of like glaze over them. And War of Invention is one of them, but War is actually I think good in the deck, and Belcher is better than Selective Memory, and you don't have to play like the bricks in the deck. It's also like much nicer to execute on Magic Online, which shouldn't be really the deciding factor for you, but it is. It's nice at least. All right, miss on our first look. All right, Surveil lands are to blame. Unlucky. Mathematically unlucky. Mathematically pretty unlucky. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Fulminators and the Haywire Mites against them. I don't know if I want to cut the Gorios. Kind of want to just cut this package here. Try that. Yeah, I mean, Whir 3, like, I like that Whir gives you more turn 4 kills, because you just get to go Whir on turn 3, Lotus, untap, Belcher, activate. And then I like that with Tamashi, you have enough mana to just Whir for Belcher and activate, and so I think that that's kind of cool too. No damping. No, not against the Tron decks. Their curve is just kind of too low. They play a bunch of, like, talismans. You could play, like, 1, but it's... Like, the Fulminators are a bit more effective against them, I think. So, like, Sphere is for, like, Storm and Titan, and then Fulminators are for Tron and Titan also. You can sometimes bring a Damping Sphere against Tron, but it's just not very good. I had a really hard time accepting Augur Bolas was acceptable in some of your brews. Yeah, Augur was like, shockingly good. Definitely hard to accept. Also a card like Whir that you just like dismiss forever, and then it finally something happens where it's playable. Mana Denial Gaming this time. Just gonna draw a card with the Kozilek's command. Miss discussion, spike him around a whir. Yeah, I think whir the whir build is optimal in Tamashi. Again, it lets you turn 4 win more often because you get to go end of turn whir for Lotus untap Belcher win, which is nice against the energy decks, which is of course kind of the main thing. Okay, so I guess we're taking. Oh, this woodland is pretty nice. Obviously, I need to be worried about second Kozilek's command. I think I'm taking the Overlord. I could just cast it next turn. I guess I'm gonna just do that. No second Kozilek's command is nice. Although this is worse against Thought Not Seer. It's really bad against Seer. Oh no. That's bad. I think it was okay to not play around it. There's our second familiar. So if we had taken the woodland, we were comboing here. If they attack with the seer, I'd probably make a food, bring back 2 cats, and just block the seer because I need the card. The last version of one Victimize, what do you think of Footsteps of the Goryo? I think it's worse than Goryo's Vengeance, probably. Just like 1 more mana and sorcery speed, but can bring back Overlord. But also requires you to sack a creature, right? Oh, no, it doesn't require you to sack a creature. Woodlands is just the play there, since if you miss on second cat, you get to Woodlands Overlord anyways. Well, I said this, but I'm playing around Kozilek's command on, I guess, other graveyard hate by taking the Overlord instead. But that was the intention, is to play around graveyard hate. And it didn't play around Seer. I don't know if yeah, I don't know, it just seemed kind of like okay. I think I'm okay if they pop the crypt just on 1 Cauldron Familiar. Although I guess I would still be able to just make a food and get it back if I wanted to. I want to play this out to be better against another Seer. There's a ring. We can like make them draw 1 less card with the Hexmage. I wish Hexmage was better against ring. Haywire Mite is good against it at least. Most versions are just running Counterspell, Pact of Negation, Flare of Denial, Force of Negation, no Shoal. Shoal was really good for me. I'm kind of surprised people are playing Pact over Shoal. Could just be one of those like high variance situations for me though. Another one. So if we draw Shifting Woodland, it's a little bit weird because we can't super effectively like play around the crypt with the Boseiju. But if we draw Ygra, they have to crypt, and then we still have 2 of these in play. That's interesting. All the 5-0s have 4 packed me, which surprises me. That surprises me too. I think I'm going to play this so that I can make a food and Grisly Salvage. I don't think I'm going to be Boseijuing a land here. I might. The thing is, I need to be able to Boseiju this, right? Yeah, I guess I need to be able to Boseiju the crypt. Not sure if I'm supposed to just deny 1 card here by targeting this. I can still like channel Boseiju or activate Goose if I do this. So it seems like the play. we're pretty dead. Okay, let's give it one more go. Obviously not a pretty promising start. Yeah, although, yeah, Belcher Detron is certainly not exactly what you want to see here. But I think it is. I have played it with Field of Ruins before. I don't know if I would say it isn't playable. I never said we shouldn't play Binding. I was asking about let's play over. Yeah, I'm just teasing you, mean. But yeah, I don't know. If I think Wrath of the Skies is too nuts. It's just too nuts, I think, to not play. And kind of simply, Solitude isn't very good. Gigantha, Wooded Foothills, Thundering Falls. Are they? I guess they're just breach combo, right? Could theoretically turn 2 win here. Oh, just stormed. Sorry. The blue mana just keeps throwing me off, but Storm has been splashing Flame Venor with more regularity recently. So there's one Cauldron Familiar, so if we mill another one off the Supplier, we have a turn 2 win. Ding ding ding. Yeah, the Gores have just been pretty nice having access to this. How's it feel, Storm Gamer, getting turn 2'd by Ygra? My opponent went, that's fun. Wait, that's so fast. Wait, what the heck? That's not fun. I've been... I'm supposed to be killing you on turn 2. Okay, we do something like this. We would go down in endurance, down decay and endurance. Endurance isn't like great, but in these kind of like longer games where you have like decay and damping sphere, I've been kind of liking it lately. I will keep my hand. It has a damping sphere against storm. Oh, that's 61. Oopsie doopsie. Did I not board out my goose? Yeah, I meant to board out this goose, I guess. Obviously don't love having double Gorios here. We're only playing 2 in the deck because to avoid situations like this. I YouTube watch a new stream how deck techs work. You can save up channel points for deck tech. Welcome to the stream. Although is Hexmage just a package with Overlord? Yeah, it has some extra utility in some matchups, but yeah, it is mostly just a good card with Overlord. I'm gonna get Forest so I could Boseiju a Blood Moon just in case they brought that in. Don't love drawing land. What if Storm started playing Spell Snare? Because it just counters all of the hate cards. Sounds kind of dangerous. You get like a big edge in the mirror too. That might be like very good. I don't know. Might be bad too. It could be good. It could be bad. Tune in, find out. On one hand, it could be good. Sorry. All right, can't make 2 mana. I was just sacking things to tower for fun. How's Stony Silence the meta with Ring, Belcher, Lantern, Foods, Clues? It might be like kind of good. I am kind of like the only person who still likes to play that card. I don't know. Personally, I like the straightforward Regular Storm build. I did too, yeah. Snare seems like it could be really nice. Just a thought for Storm gamers. 4 spell Snare on the board. Like, are there any hate cards? I guess this is Deafening Silence, but that is like a little more obscure. Very difficult one to beat anyways. But I like that Snare, like, not only the Snare counter hate pieces, but Snare also makes you like much better in the mirror, and also like stops counterspell out of counterspell decks. Yeah, Damping Spheres do stack, so that one spell is 2 more mana. But obviously, the fact that you have to have it on your opening hand is pretty bad. How do you feel about copy of Ignite Memories as wish target for Storm? I guess I don't really understand what the idea behind Ignite Memories would be. Like, what are you doing with it? Like, why would it be good? It doesn't seem like it really does anything. Thank you, Surreal Lands. Okay, so there's a Ygra. So if we can find another Cauldron Familiar, we're in there. Did not find another Cauldron Familiar, so we'll just pass. Now I can hit them for a lot next turn. So I can bring back Ygra. I can sack 2 or 3 foods. Well, they're probably gonna go give me another fish, play a 2-drop, play a land or ritual, then I decay their ruby. Because they're basically never bouncing without another answer here. I do have 2 fish now, though. Starting with the Manamorphose. Overlord and Swing, then Goros and Opponent. You can only Goros legendary creatures. That was my problem with this the other day, but can only Goros legendary creatures. Alright, so there's a Ral. Here's a ritual. And this is a dead Ral Zarek. But I can Goryo's Ygra, and I can sack 1, 2, 3 foods. I can sack them all to the familiar ability, so that's 6 counters, 8 counters. So I can hit them for 14 next turn potentially. All right. If they flip this, they don't get to ultimate it. They lost the flip anyways. They reveal Pass in Flame's Wish for next turn. Then we draw Gilded Goose. So if I go Goryo's Ygra, I can Goryo's Ygra, attack for a ton, and then also play 2 Damping Spheres still. So this seems good. Oh, they weren't dead, but so I was gonna sack food, 2 counters, then I can sack these 2 both to Cauldron Familiar. I can sack this to Tower. I could play. Oh, I couldn't play 2 Damping Spheres. That's okay. 2 Oatstorm feels nice. Why was that not lethal? They could block Ygra. So you need 2 Cauldron Familiars to combo off. Yeah, I think they were dead if they didn't block. We had the Damping Spheres, so like they were certainly in very bad shape. You can Boseiju the Ral. Oh, right. I turn Ral into an artifact, and then I can Boseiju it. Right. And it's just like you just play Buried Alive, and then you just have the 2 familiars if you want another enabler instead of your enabler being Grinding Station, right? Is this a Gravestorm deck? There's no such thing as a Gravestorm deck, at least that I know of. Storm isn't that scary anymore, is it? I mean, what are we even talking about? It just like kills you on turn 2 pretty regularly, and when you're playing a deck like this, like another combo deck that's slower than Storm, you do usually lose. Hexmage would be really nice here. How about Brick? Dang. So up against Breach. Wait, Kozilek? That's not Breach. Exile Magoose, make a spawn. Note to self, always play Supplier first over Overlord in 2. I don't know. Maybe that was better. Certainly would have worked out better. Best draw is probably Phyrexian Tower. Hexmage is all still pretty good. Because I was thinking there's a good chance I wanted to save the food so I can cast Ygra a bit easier. I mean, they are playing green. Okay, they are. How did a Kozilek Butcher of Truth enter the chat? Okay, getting hit for 17 here. Pretty surprised about that one. I'm gonna bring in the Mites and the Fulminator Mages again, and then I think we're just gonna still board out this package. It feels wrong actually, since we want to be a bit faster. So let's board out this package instead. Still 2 Overlords though. Don't love having second Buried Alive, but we're going to keep. Spheres are pretty good since they have Soul Lands. They're not pretty good. They have some application. They, in fact, I think of all of the Eldrazi decks, they're at their worst against Through the Breach. They also negatively affect us pretty often, a lot more often than you would like. They are not irrelevant, but they are not pretty good. Kind of tough between land, Fulminator Mage, Ygra. Those are my 3 options. I'm gonna take the Mage, I think. Like, Sphere is really only good if they have 2 Soul Lands out at the same time, right? Where it's like, if you're spending 2 mana to turn a land that taps for 2 into 1, you're like time walking yourself to slow your opponent by a turn, so it kind of doesn't do anything. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is oftentimes how it plays out. So we don't care so much about losing the cat here because we have Buried Alive. I will say that, you know, making a spawn instead of scrying is always a sign of strength. If we tried comboing this with Sam Cat Shell, I haven't. You have to splash a color, much worse in your Shifting Woodland deck. A few more problems, maybe. Okay. I was kind of hoping they would play a ring here, not this Myco spawn. I know Priest is an awkward card. Is it unrealistic to consider because you can use it in Buried Alive package? You could maybe play a Priest. A Priest is nice with the Buried Alive plan. I agree. It is an awkward card. It's awkward on your mana. It might be right to play, though. It wouldn't be too tough to splash 1 copy of it. Interesting they're getting a Surveil land. Okay, well, I don't even need to Buried Alive. Although, sorry. I do need to Buried Alive because I don't have Delirium. So we can put Overlord in the yard for Delirium. As well as another Cauldron Familiar, I guess, and a Bloodghast. Cast the One Ring. Probably means Breach plus land is next. I could mean that. I think that they would not surveil here if their hand was really good. They would probably get a Temple or something. They do find a Kozilek's Command. No, we don't make enough food for Feasting Troll King. So the good news is we just have another Buried Alive. How many cats do we have left, though? Oh, these are our last cats. Didn't you already have Delirium? Sorcery, instant creature land. I had no instance. Just cast the ring. Is there a way to just combo Ygra EDH you could think of? I'm probably not the right person to ask about that. All they needed to hold up K command. Well, if they hold it up, I can combo at instant speed, so it's a little bit awkward. My opponent exiles both familiars. The templating looked a little weird there. But we're now unable to combo. I could maybe Woodland copy my Fulminator Mage, hit them here. I could also just copy Overlord, attack for 5, put something into my hand. Let's just cast the Ygra. Yeah, when Breach draws well, it is quite a force to be reckoned with. On the draw against Mistaken, who's usually up on Titan. Too bad we haven't played against like any... We haven't played against a single energy or frog opponent today. It has been entirely combo. Have we played against any non-combo deck today? I guess we played against one domain. No, it was Rhinos, which is not exactly combo. Against Tron once, which is kind of combo. We have a turn 4 win on the draw against Titan, which is a very classic place to be too. Modernist Healing or not. I mean, we played against a huge diversity of decks today. We played against Boros Reckoner today. We played against a lot of sweet stuff. But, you know, these kind of like more resilient combo decks like we're playing here are like just kind of not that good against the faster combo decks. What this meta needs, Twin. Twin would be kind of interesting. It would actually be not that bad against Boros. Maybe. Nah, it's probably still pretty bad against Boros. I'm just thinking of the okay, should I just Buried Alive? No, because I can go Buried Alive Goryo's next turn if I brick. Just thinking about some of the implications with like Pyroclasms. Alright, we did a really poor job of winning the die roll. I'm going to leave these back to maybe Chump Block to survive. Very unlikely, but we're also not nickeling and diming our way out of this game. GG, John. Should be pretty deterministic with like Mirror Pool and to haste the Titans. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to game 2. Wish we had won the die roll. I do have a lot of sideboard cards we can bring in. I think all these cards are pretty nice. I'm like a little bit less like I like the Buried Alive Goryo's plan less against the endurances that they're going to bring in. So maybe just cut this package with the intention to just like hardcast Ygra after we like slow them down with Might Sphere, Fulminator. Still have some fast draws too. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one. So notably, if I play my Damping Sphere, I can't use my Phyrexian Tower anymore. Kind of just want to Overlord, then play Damping Sphere next turn. Although now Yellow Scope might activate. And I could maybe buy the Might back with Overlord next turn instead of playing the Damping Sphere. Oh, sorry, I would need to draw Black Source though, because yeah, okay, just 3 amulets. 7 card hands. Play this out. I'm sure by Titan players deck is not well positioned. Yeah, I know. The lobbying with the Titan players is so good. So good. They just have Boseiju. No? Just playing the Lotus Field into the Damping Sphere? Surely not. I mean, if it was just a mistake at this point. A Mistaken doesn't make that many mistakes. Didn't even make another mana to like cast a ring here. And then sacks the Lotus Field to play to do nothing. Mega misclick. I see. I think it was probably trying to cast the ring. Well, you know, we didn't play around winning the die roll, but we did successfully manage to have make a mistake. And players will never tell you to make a mistake. Not mistaken. Mistaken is very humble. Here's the ring coming down this turn. So I have to draw a land to kill it with Might, I guess. Because it costs 2 mana, and I can't make extra mana off the tower, unfortunately. I guess it just, you know. I sent them back enough with the Lotus Field, maybe. Here's his cave, commercial district. Our overlords are on impending, or at least our first one is at least soon. It is kind of cool that this like comes up a lot in these sideboard games where you just bring in your hate cards. Feels like our opponent almost Boseiju'd me. So I think I'm going to do here is Might the Ring, and then if my opponent Boseiju's the Damping Sphere, if they Boseiju the Damping Sphere, I want to be able to activate my Woodland. So yeah, I'm just going to play this. Then I'm going to make a food end of turn if I don't have to. I can also still, I can, oh no I can't because I can't use the tower for mana right now. So do they have another Crumbling Vestige to give this haste? Okay, so we're getting Bajuka Bogged. Not really the end of the world. Gabi with Twitch Prime, thank you, welcome back. Well, pretty toast, I guess. Troll Stick, 18 months, thank you, welcome back. Oops, all combo opponents today. Been cursed. Yeah, maybe we're off the Ygra deck for tomorrow. So good on Monday. Could maybe get a little weird with it. I want to keep going today. I ended up not doing rest day from the gym yesterday.